We begin this night on the topic of peace in the crease. In Toronto, this is the Cat's House. And this is the Cat, 21-year-old Felix Potvin, who's proved he can stop pucks.
Period. Kozlov put it in there. Eisenberg with a big play. Solid Potvin. Federov's pass. In front. Federov. Potvin, big save. Another shot. Potvin scintillating in the early going. Federov shutting.
The problem in the Cat's House is the presence of this man. All series, Dino Ciccarelli stood before the Leaf netminder with an immovable 175 pounds of aggravation.
He goes to the front of the net. He doesn't care who's there. And Potvin whacks him. Ciccarelli's right in Potvin's face. That's two whacks by Potvin. He's awful close to the crease, and he's trying to make sure Potvin can't see the point shot or...
Without scoring, Dino Ciccarelli's defiant stand has come to symbolize Detroit's domination. Tonight, he takes up a spot on enemy ice.
It's nothing different from what I've done all season. I'm going to continue to stand there. That's what's made our power play successful throughout the season and the playoffs. And I don't think it's anything different from what Andreychuk does for Toronto. So that's my job, and I'm going to be there again tonight.
A cat and a dinosaur, and the bad news for Toronto fans is this dinosaur is far from extinct. Ciccarelli versus Potvin. All eyes focused on one of many great matchups in this Toronto-Detroit get-together. The Wings win twice in their own building, 6-2, 6-3. Now we'll get together at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, where it was a spectacular spring day. And they're all excited about the first playoff competition here in 3 years. Meantime, the scene inside the Gardens, it's the first playoffs under the new regime of Steve Stavro and Cliff Fletcher, and they're going to celebrate it with pre-game ceremonies. We'll tell you about that and much, much more as we move along this evening. Good evening and welcome to Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC and the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm Ron McLean. Toronto-Detroit at the Gardens will set the scene from a Leafs perspective. Lots of talk about Potvin. He'll get the start. There are some lineup changes. We'll address those with Don Cherry. Wendell Clark's been the subject of much discussion. We'll go about that. And we'll also look at Detroit, who are far from cocky. After all, the Wings in the last 6 years have 3 times been in series in which 3-1 series leads have been squandered. The Wings rallying twice in '87 against Toronto and last year against Minnie. But 2 years ago against St. Louis, they were up 3-1 and lost the series. So they know the momentum can shift. It's obviously a huge game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They try to turn the tide, and we'll get to all of it with Don Cherry, Bob Cole, and Harry Neal as we continue our blanket coverage of this great Norris Division semifinal series. One of the shows of support has been from fans who put their signatures on a giant hockey stick that's in the West Corridor. There's about 2,000 names on this fan support, and we'll show you lots of spectacular fan support here at the Gardens when we continue with our coverage and the pregame ceremonies next on Molson Hockey Night in Canada and the Stanley Cup playoffs on CBC.
Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. Brought to you by Molson Canadian Ice. Welcome to the Ice Age. By Ford of Canada, where quality is job one. It's working. By Imperial Oil and Esso Associates, proud to be one of the leading sponsors of youth hockey in Canada. And by Pepsi. Gotta have it.
In spotlit Toronto, the Leafs and the Wings are on the ice. Don Cherry.
Well, I tell you, this is what it's all about. If they're going to win a game, as I've said many times before, the most important game of the series right here.
Game 3. You've always said that. Let's begin with Wendell Clark and the expectations of the media, if not the people.
I'm going to talk more about that in Coach's Corner, but it's I can't figure out 19 other guys on this club. Why is everybody picking on Wendell? 21 years old, 6'2". Lay off Wendell, he'll do his job.
Dino Ciccarelli and Felix Potvin.
Hey, what's a little guy doing in front? You want to stand in front, you pay the price. I can't understand that. Why is Dino, here he is here. Why the heck is he standing in front, wanting to get Probert? And Potvin is just warning him. It was just a little tickle, that's all. If he really wanted to hurt him, he'd go after his ankle.
There was some talk about Brian Murray sending tapes to the NHL. He did not. However, the referees got together with Brian Lewis. Mark Fawcett will call the game tonight, and they've been told to try and eliminate some of the stick work.
Well, I know McElwain's not playing. I just hope Anderson comes out of the fog. Either start playing or go back to Switzerland or something. He's got to start producing.
Mark Osborne is back, and Kent Manderville goes in tonight. Krushelnyski is out, and as you say, McElwain out.
Well, we better get going because Bobby Probert says get off the bench.
Okay, there's Osborne, number 21. They're going to introduce the starting lineups for tonight's Game 3 of the Norris Division semifinal. So let's head upstairs now and join Garden's public address announcer, Paul Morris.
Ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for the Detroit Red Wings. On defense, number 3, Steve Chiasson. On defense, number 16, Vladimir Konstantinov. At left wing, number 25, John Ogrodnik. At right wing, number 22, Dino Ciccarelli. At center, number 19, Steve Yzerman. Starting in goal, number 32, Tim Cheveldae. Ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for your Toronto Maple Leafs. On defense, number 4, Dave Elliott. On defense, number 23, Todd Gill. At left wing, number 14, Dave Ondrachuk. At right wing, number 9, Glenn Anderson. At center, number 93, Doug Gilmour. Starting in goal, number 29, Felix Potvin. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and join John McDermott in the singing of our national anthems.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, Canada,
evening, everybody. Bob Cole with Harry Neal in the gondola at this old building. Maple Leaf Gardens is really rocking tonight. It's been 3 years since the Toronto team has been in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They've been welcome here tonight. If the Leafs can't do much tonight, they never will. What a welcome they have for Game 3 against the Detroit Red Wings. Tim Cheveldae, 20 saves in Game 1, another 28 in the 6-2 win on Wednesday in Game 2. This season, he was 4th in wins among NHL goalies.
On defense, the Red Wings are going with the 6 talented fellas that played the first 2 games. All of them can carry the puck, shoot it and pass it. They've made one change at forward. Gerard Gallant is out with a Charlie horse, and he's replaced by the veteran John O'Grodnick. Crimmon, Conroy, Hiller, and Cummins are here but not playing.
Felix Potvin promises to hold his cool here in Game 3. Really, he has held the Leafs close for the first period of both games at Detroit.
And on defense, the Leafs will go with the same 6 that played in Joe Louis Arena in Game 1 and 2. And at the forward position, they've inserted Manderville and taken out Krushelnyski. As well, Osborne is back in the lineup. Borchevsky, McGill, Berehowski hurt. The other 4 here but not dressed.
The referee is Mark Fawcett. On the lines, Kevin Collins and Brian Murphy. Yzerman, Ciccarelli, and John O'Grodnick. Starting up front for Detroit, Konstantinov and Chason, the defenseman. That is Gill, who's on with Ellett to start on the Maple Leaf blue line. Gilmore, Anderson, and Tkachuk go in over the line. Cheveldae coming out of the net. Gill can't stop it, and Ellett is hustling back, and he does a pretty good job getting back in front of Fedorov. As the Red Wings change quickly, Ellett got a high stick. There's going to be a Detroit penalty right off the bat. 30 seconds into the game. Ellett was hit with a high stick from Fedorov. There's Fedorov, and we'll get a look at Ellett now, as the referee has a look at him too.
Well, the Detroit Red Wings came out. They really wrapped Doug Gilmour on the first shift. And early in the game, 30 seconds into it, Fedorov high sticks Ellett as he's chasing him behind the net. He hooked him once, twice, and then gets him right there in the face. Fedorov very fortunate that Ellett's not cut. And Gilmour comes out and lays a good one on Konstantinov, the toughest and most rugged Red Wing defenseman.
A minor penalty to Fedorov. High sticking is the call. Pat Burns was saying yesterday, it's almost imperative that the Maple Leafs get a lead against these Red Wings. Well, they have an early power play now, 30 seconds into the game. Long shot wide of the Maple Leaf net. Toronto with Mironov. That is Gill with the puck. Gilmore circles behind him. Gill starts it off. Up the center, Mironov. He hammers it in there. Sean Burr, a penalty killer for Detroit, can't clear it. Chason gets an opportunity now. It comes to Gill, however. Shot! It was screened but went wide. Mironov poked it ahead. Now Mironov lets one fly. Right in there! And Cullen looking for it, can't find it. Tim Cheveldae going down. And the Leafs come close. And what a noisy crowd tonight at Maple Leaf Gardens.
The Leafs have never been ahead in this series. They've been even for 23 minutes and 14 seconds of the first 120, and they've been behind for a minute and 36. The first goal would be the best news the Maple Leafs could ever get here in Game 3 at Maple Leaf Gardens, and they came fairly close to getting it on that point shot that Cheveldae found before Anderson and Cullen could get their sticks on it.
Minute 26 left in the Red Wing penalty. Fedorov is in the box for high sticking. Cullen against Yzerman on the draw. The Red Wings, Konstantinov into the corner. Here's Yzerman, and he easily finds the gap between the two defensemen. It's all the way back. Gill, chased by Yzerman. So he played it in back of the net. Mironov waiting for Gilmore, and he comes around the net. Mironov's pass to Todd Gill. He's up over the Red Wing line. Gill is cutting from the corner. He's in back of the net, is tied up momentarily. Andrechuk comes in to give a hand. Cullen trying to race for it against Isabard. Isabard got there first and cleared it. Red Wings are changing. 50 seconds left in the penalty. No score. First period. Game 3. It is Gill again at center, and he shoots it in. He is not 100%. Back spasms was the problem with Todd Gill. But he's on for a long shift there. Now he heads off as Ellen played it ahead. The Red Wings forechecking, trying to kill off this penalty. Clark on the ice for the first time. Got it in. Here's Cecil. He can't handle the pass. Cecil back of the net. Has a chance to move it out to the line, and Ellen winds up no shot. It's off the stick of Baranov. He's hit hard on the boards by Burr. Great chance here. Ellen coming in with the high one off the glass. Back to Ellen again. Rebound Clark. Wide open net, and he couldn't find it, and the Red Wings have killed off the penalty. No score. What a great pace to start the game, and here come the Red Wings. Primo's shot. That's in wide of the goal and comes back to Clark. He's around the net. Primo in after him. It is played on the boards to the line, but not out. Red Wings center it. Poked in high off the glass. Ellen tied up. It is Pearson getting loose. He's over the Detroit blue line. Pearson's pass back. Shot. Stopped by Chevelday. 3 Red Wings hop on it and come back. Up to center ice. Primo going in offside. And the play is called. And a great start to Game 3 in Toronto.
2 talented coaches matching wits here at Maple Leaf Gardens. Murray knows his speedy, more talented wings. If they cannot allow the Leafs to outwork him, he thinks they can beat them. Burns wants a little more discipline to go along with the physical play.
3:17 into the opening period, no score. Leafs have had the only shots on goal so far. Bear in mind, the Red Wings had to kill off a penalty. Only 3 shots so far by Toronto. Konstantinov back to the goal. Pass into the corner. Good for checking Toronto, though. Yzerman slipped in there fast. Puck out to Chiasson. Coming up is Probert, dropping it back. Right onto the stick of Anderson. He's away. Gilmore takes it from Anderson and skates back over center and comes in there. Here's Andrechuk. Anderson knocking one down. Anderson shot. Rebound. That came off Chevelday, and that just missed going in. Leafs getting good scoring chances early. Cicerelli slipped it in. Pass back in front. The Leafs are on it. Here they come again. It is Gilmore trying to get away from Yzerman. Here's Andrechuk coming in. That one stopped by Chevelday. Leafs are on it again. Andrechuk. Chevelday made another big stop. Foligno getting out front of the net. Andrechuk scoring, and the Leafs lead 1-0.
Well, the first goal of hockey games have been a vital part of the Leafs' victories here. 25 of them at Maple Leaf Gardens this year. They have been far more aggressive, much quicker and more confident tonight, and it finally pays off as Dave Andrechuk slides one under Tim Chevelday. Chevelday has been brilliant to avoid this first goal on many occasions here in the first 4.5 minutes of the third game of this series.
And you know, there must be a fish market here in Toronto too, because look at this.
And a quick look at those octopi will tell you they're Canadian-born, not American. Dave Andrechuk, who's been criticized
Toronto goal
for not
scored by
producing in
number
the playoffs,
14,
gets the
Dave
big one
Andrechuk.
early in this game for the
Number
Leafs.
71, Mike Foligno, and number 93, Doug Gilmore. Time 4:21. Dave Andrechuk from Mike Foligno and Doug Gilmore. Time 4:21.
Here's another look at the goal underneath Chevelday. We can tell you that the rink attendants in Joe Louis are a little braver than those in Toronto. They pick them up with their bare hands in Detroit, and they make the linesman get them with a shovel here.
Andrechuk's first on the playoff. Foligno from Gilmore. or rather Foligno and Gilmore assisting on that goal. 4:21 the time. So 1-0 Toronto. Berg shoots it in. Paul Coffey comes back of his own net for Detroit. Coffey starting out. Pass got by everybody. Down to Marinov. Up to Osborne. He's in there with Vanderbilt playing his first game in the playoffs. And Cheveldae stopped that, and he had to go down quickly with Vanderbilt ending up in the net behind him.
You know, you can always ask when a coach puts a player called up from the minors in a game as critical as this one is to the Leafs. And the one thing Vanderbilt can do is give the forward line some size and give them some youthful experience. And you can see there, he forces the Detroit defenseman to take him hard going to the net. Great prospect in the minds of the Leaf scouts. And he has 14 points in 12 games for St. John's in the 92 Calder Cup playoffs.
He's at center ice now. This face-off against Burr. Baumgartner and Osborne on the wings. Probert on there for Detroit. And Kennedy. Racine and Mark Howe. The Detroit defenseman. This is Howe. Now he starts out. Pass to Burr. He had to stop to pick it up. Shot it in. Might go for icing. Marinov hustling back. He didn't get back quickly enough, and Potvin had to play it. Racine's pass, hitting Burr. Kennedy stopped to the Leaf line. And Toronto shoots it down the ice. On the net, Cheveldae to Howe. 1-0 Toronto in the early going here in Game 3. Howe shot it up to Kennedy. Gets up over the Leaf line. Probert gets in. Stopped by Potvin. A low shot. And the Leafs clear it out. Howe was back for Racine. Racine decides to lug it in himself. Gets in there on the backhand, and Marinov checked him. Racine fell to the ice. Into the corner. The Red Wings trying to dig it out. That is big Bob Probert, who was hit hard. Here's a shot that's deflected high. Probert being checked. Puck shut down the ice. Konstantinov back to touch it. Icing called against Toronto.
Well, when you've got Probert and Baumgartner out there, you're going to be able to hear the hits. You don't have to look for them. Big Bob Probert, who was a menace, a physical menace in Detroit, was taken on by Ken Baumgartner here early in this game. And here's what I'm talking about right here. Baumgartner and now Probert hits him in the face with an elbow. We thought the game might be a little more serene, than Game 2, which was a vicious one, but not apparently so.
Primo for Detroit. Shepard and Drake on the wings. This is Hallett. Berg, the left winger on this line for Toronto. Cullen is at center. Foligno on the right side. Detroit back to pick it up. Here's Berg intercepting. He falls. It's back to Wellop. His shot hit a leg. Way wide of the net, that shot. Shepard to center ice. Shoots it in for Drake. He made a great move, but he missed the net with the shot as he went in. 1-0 Toronto. Nearing the 7-minute mark of the first period. Drake running into Foligno and sending him crashing into the boards. Gill comes back. And a play called. We have 13:23 left in the opening period. The shots are 8-2 Maple Leafs.
One of the fine rookies for Detroit, Dallas Drake. Counting the league and the 2 playoff games, he has 14 points in his last 11 games. And he got a great chance right here to tie the game as he came in and faked a shot on Todd Gill. Todd looked at the puck, and Drake stepped inside him and missed the net on a good opportunity. He's not a big player, but pound for pound, he's a tough one, and he sends Mike Foligno into his old bench, the Red Wing bench. Foligno talking to Baumgartner. The Leafs are alive with enthusiasm tonight.
Fedorov comes on. Eisenberg. And Kozlov on the left side. Wendell Clark on the ice again for the Maple Leafs. That means Zezel will take the face-off. And now he skates in. Pearson is the other winger for the Maple Leafs. Zezel and Fedorov on this draw. Zezel won it. Marinov to Rouse. Rouse around the net. Puck is played on the glass down to the center ice area. Here's Mironov moving up. He shot it from center, was hit by Fedorov immediately. Stop at the line by Pearson, who was upended. Puck comes to Ogrodnik, and he's away. But he made a bad pass over near the Detroit bench as they were changing. They nearly got caught with the extra man on. Racine, stick handle out of his own zone, got to the line. Mironov coming in, right in. Shovel day as he waited and waited, and then hit the goaltender who was down. Ogrodnik on the boards. Skated out of the play. Ciccarelli is bumped. Here's Gilmore. He's alone on the rush. Two Red Wings are back, and he knew it. He has one fooled. Now he's in. Set it up. Gilmore. Backhander. Stop. Rebound. Score. Gilmore. Great rush. And then Andreychuk gets his second. 2-0. Toronto. Remember hearing the crowd so vocal. Why not?
Well, Doug Gilmore, he's got a rush here, 1 against 4. He recognizes he hasn't got much going, so he turns back. That allows Andreychuk to get in the rush. Gilmore almost got it to Andreychuk here and recovered the puck as it bounced off of Grodnik's foot. And Andreychuk, who's one of the best garbage men in the league, shovels a bag into the net to make it 2-0. Toronto. The big long reach. And how many times have we said that's his most valuable tool? The long reach, the long stick, and the good hands.
Second goal of the playoffs of this night in this first period. Gilmore, what a great rush by Gilmore to set it up. 7:37 was the time. It is 2-0 Toronto. And from the face-off at center, Lidstrom now coming up with Kennedy. Kennedy's pass to Burr. He dropped it back to Probert. Probert on the move in there. He slipped by Zezel. Probert got it out front from the scramble. Still in front of the crease. And cleared finally to center ice. Lidstrom back up. Shot one in. Pearson after it. Dumped it out into the center ice area. Probert slapped it in back of the net. Probert at the far side. It was called by Kevin Collins, I believe. Probert is inside the line. We'll be back.
Hey.
Welcome back. Bob Cole and Harry Neal on the gondola. Ron McLean and Don Cherry along, and it's very quiet outside this big building. Not in here. The Maple Leafs have jumped out to a 2-0 lead in this first period against Detroit. The fade shot came off his stick and dribbled in wide of the net. Here's Vanderbilt trying to stuff it in. Hooked away by Coffey. Kozlov on the boards. He started out and got as far as the line, but it had been called in behind the play.
Well, the first goal has been absolutely vital to the Leafs this year. They're 33-8-7 when they score first, and here they have 2 before the Red Wings are on the board. Here's the owner and his wife. They own the Detroit Red Wings, they own Little Caesars Pizza, and they own the Detroit Tigers. 2 out of 3 are doing very well tonight, but the one not so well.
Coming up to the 9-minute mark of the first. Toronto 2, Detroit nothing. Here's a lead pass, but offside. Kozlov picking it up okay, but not having complete control, and he was in ahead of the puck.
Well, one advantage that Pat Burns is taking advantage of tonight is the last change. So we have not seen one full shift yet with Fedorov's line against Doug Gilmore's line, and they played nearly every shift against the Gilmore trio in Joe Louis Arena. So that's the advantage of having a home, playing at home. You get the last change. Don't forget this, folks. In Game 1 and in Game 2, the Red Wings scored 2 or 3 goals in 8 or 9 minutes, and they have that quality, and the Leafs ought to remember it.
Detroit controlling on this face-off, and Lidstrom decides from center ice to hammer it in. Then he was dumped, but the Red Wings are on the puck in there, and here's Lidstrom from the blue line. Passes off at the goal post. Came off the stick at the side of the net by Yzerberg and off the post. Yzerberg into Fedorov. He can't center it. Tries it again. Now Coffey's shot is up high. And it was Potvin who saw that. And pass up through the middle to Lidstrom, who kept it in. But Pearson will get a chance to clear it, and a Detroit player, Kozlov, is down. He has been injured and is in obvious pain, and the Detroit trainer is out.
I didn't see what hit him, but he went down like he was poleaxed. Looks like he got it in the side of the face there. The referee did not call a penalty, but don't forget, linesmen can call high sticks, and there it is right there. A slap across the face with the stick of Pearson. Kozlov appears to be all right and is going to the bench, and so far, referee Fawcett has not gone to the penalty box, so it looks like there'll be no present.
Nothing has been called. Kozlov, as you see right here, was flipped. I think maybe it was Rouse, Harry. Watch it again.
Well, it's hard to say. I don't think Kozlov cares who. The trainer, seeing if his jaw is displaced at all, he's going to be all right by the look of it.
Speaking of injuries and jaws, Bob McGill, the Leaf defenseman, broken jaw. And he's already lost 17 pounds. Hasn't wired, but was here working out today.
I think the Leafs could use him in this type of series, could they not? He's a tough cookie.
Nearing the halfway mark of the first period. Toronto leads 2-0. Both goals by Andreychuk. Shepard takes over at the Detroit line and shoots at the length of the ice. Lefebvre going back, and that is icing against Detroit.
Well, the Leafs are outscoring the Red Wings 2-0. They're outshooting them 12-3, and it looks like two different teams than the two we saw at Joe Louis Arena. Felix Potvin was very busy in both first periods of games 1 and 2, and he, in the first 10 minutes of this game, has had not much to do. He gets a break on this one as it goes off the post and stays out. That was after a long siege. The only one Detroit has come up with where the Leafs' defensive zone coverage left a little to be desired.
Face off to the right of Tim Cheveldae. Zezel and Primo facing off. Zezel again winning it, cutting to the corner. He ran into Racine, ran right over. Puck is cleared off the boards down the ice. Little action in behind the play, but the play goes right on. Pearson is coming up with some steam, going in after it. Clark is with him. Clark shot it behind the net. Shepard got back for Detroit. Out come the Red Wings. Drake from center. Potvin out of the net, stopping it. Sees McCown coming in. And it's McCown. Long pass ahead, stopped by Yzerman. Yzerman got rid of it quickly. Pearson turning. Pearson just lifted a high one into center ice. Red Wings and the Leafs are both making changes now as the play goes on. Konstantinov shot it from center to get away from Gilmore before he hit center ice, and that again is icing against Detroit.
Well, one guy that has to get going, and I agree with Don Cherry in his opening remarks, is Glenn Anderson. He has been at his best in other years in the playoffs, and he hasn't done much in the first two games. It looks like the Leafs have learned from their negative experience of too many penalties in Game 1. There's only one thing worse, more painful than learning from experience, and that's not learning from it. The Leafs have been aggressive, and they've been sensible, and they've stayed out of the penalty box. And those are three good ideas if they want to prolong this series with a win tonight.
There's just been one minor penalty so far in the hockey game. Fedorov for high sticking at the 32nd mark, but the Red Wings kill that off effectively. It was after that when Andreychuk scored twice. 2-0 Toronto. And it's the Red Wings up to Yzerman coming in. Yzerman and Burr drop back to the line of Fedorov. He has it off the boards, trying to cut back in front. Coffey comes in to help. Coffey around the net, taking a look out front. Now his shot hit a skate and went wide. Burr jumped on it quickly and played it off the boards down the ice. Lidstrom stopping, passes back to Coffey. Coffey taking his time. Got it by Berg and shot it by Allen. And it's in there. Gill to hit it hard, and that gets down the ice. Might get over the line. Lidstrom back, yes. And it's icing against Toronto. It is 2-0 Maple Leafs with 8:50 left in the first period. Coming up, following the news tonight, Game 3 of the Smythe Division semifinal. Calgary Flames were in LA to take on the Kings. So lots of hockey again tonight. This one, 2-0 Toronto. Leafs out shooting Detroit 12-3 with 8:50 left in the first period. Gilmore on, so is Yzerman, and Gilmore won the draw. Tucked ahead at the blue line, Andrechuk going right wing to Anderson. Anderson up over the line and hopping in. Here's Andrechuk catching up. Gilmore got in front of the net and was taken out of the play before he could get a shot. Cicerelli sliding it ahead. Chason fired it in. It took a funny hop, bounced down in front of Potvin. He didn't see it at first. Wings come back to pick it up. Penalty being called. Potvin was heading out of the net, so we assume Detroit has been nailed. I'm not sure if they had too many on the ice or not, but Drake is going off, and a slash is the sign being given. So that was in behind the play. Didn't see it.
The Leafs, the Red Wings did not take many silly penalties in games 1 and 2, and I think that contributed to their victory. Dallas Drake took one here that I'm sure he'd like to have back, and it gives the Leafs a chance to go up 3-0 with 8:21 to go on the power play. But let's not forget, in games 1 and 2, Detroit got 2 very timely shorthanded goals, one in each game. And if you were looking for an individual turning point in each of those games, I think it was Burr's shorthanded goal or Fedorov's in game 2.
And Burr is on now with Yzerman, the other forward for Detroit. There's Sean Burr, ready to go. The Leafs have Gilmore, Andrechuk, who has scored both Leaf goals, and Cullen on the right side. Mironov will be one defenseman and Todd Gill the other. Now we're ready. Face off inside the Red Wing blue line to the left of Cheveldae. 2-0 Toronto. Power play Toronto. Puck dropped in, and the Leafs will be sent down the ice as the Red Wings shoot it away. And Gill is coming back. Yzerman is staying rather close to Gilmore as he circles back. Now it is Gill coming out by Burr. Got it up there. Cullen left it at the blue line for Andrechuk, and now Cullen in. Chason hit him. Cullen fell hard. Gill at the blue line. Just poked it off the boards ahead to Andrechuk. Andrechuk got stuck. It came out in front. The Red Wings are on it, trying to clear it. Fight for it along the boards. Gill keeps it in. Fan on it. And the Red Wings, Sean Burr has it. Burr and Yzerman. Yzerman coming out. He had a look at that blue line as if he might go. Burr upended. And Yzerman going off the ice now as they make quick changes. 1:05 left in the penalty. Gilmore taking a chance, stick handling out front of the net. He got away with it. Coming up is Cullen. Cullen left it for Gilmore. A little bit too far for him. Yzerman, a high one to center ice. Mironov can't get by Fedorov with that pass. Fedorov moving up for Detroit. Yzerman is in front. Fedorov backhand pass over in front of three Leafs are on it. It's up to Pearson. Now getting back. Pearson trying to set up Clark. The Leafs keep it in on this power play. It's ripped off the boards around the net. It comes out near the line. Gill shot it ahead. Gilmore against Fedorov. Racine coming back, and he shoots it down the ice. 20 seconds left in the penalty. 6:40 in the period. 2-0 Toronto. And one more rush on this power play for the Leafs. Broken up at the blue line before they could get started. Burr centered it. Yzerman shot. Potvin made a big save. Yzerman making a bid for another shorthanded goal and nearly had it. Good stop by Potvin. Penalty is over now. Zezel for Toronto. Ahead for Clark. Zezel was nailed at center ice. Back out for Coffey. He's speeding in. Coffey on with the brakes. The pass in do not clear it. It is Drake. Now he lost it. Zezel checked, but he got one hand on the stick, and that was enough to shoot it out. Yzerman back in his own zone, coming away. Yzerman's pass in behind Drake. He had to turn to pick it up. Allowing Pearson to come back by Shepard. Leafs just content to shoot it away now as the Red Wings were changing. 5:35 left in the opening period. It's intercepted by Cullen. Cullen over the line. The shot stopped by Cheveldae. Foligno shoots it back in the net. It's centered again to Berg. And Foligno was there, but he was stopped. Fired to center ice. The Red Wings on it. Ogrodnik in there for Primo. Back to Ogrodnik. And Potvin looked a bit shaky stopping that one. He couldn't hang on to it. It fell at his feet, then he cleared it away. Konstantinov's pass is intercepted. The Maple Leafs shoot it in. 5 minutes to go in the first period. Now what a period it has been so far. Foligno upended near center ice by Big Primo. The Red Wings, Primo coming in. Foligno chased him. And the puck is out into the center ice area. Foligno tied up again. But the Leafs carry on, led by Gill. He lost it inside the Red Wing blue line. Ogrodnik paid it back for Howe. There's Osborne centering pass to Baumgartner. Baumgartner, no shot on the net. The Red Wings get it out. Kennedy lost it at center ice. Osborne flipped it to center. And Gill will have to go back deep in his own zone. Gill, a high one down the ice. Baumgartner against Howe. Howe got back first and cleared it. 2 Red Wings are up. It is Berg coming in with Kennedy. Pass back to Berg. And he drew one. That puck pass saw all the way. And he made the stop and then smothered it.
This has been a superb period of hockey. Good chances at either end. The Leafs just a little sharper than the Wings. Perhaps the best scoring chance of this period, Bob Probert lets one fly from about 26 feet out. Potvin makes the save and recovers the puck.
4:03 left in the opening period. Toronto 2, Detroit nothing. Fedorov and Cecil. Once again, Cecil using the skate. Control the puck in the faceoff. Osborne to center ice, down the boards, and he shoots it in. Back to the net, Cheveldae scooped it away. Got it high on the glass and out. Leafs trying to pick it up inside the line again. Berg and Osborne. 2 of them were there, but the Red Wings shoot it to center. Rouse flipped it from center ice. Cheveldae coming out. Put it into the corner. There's Osborne. Back of the net. Vanderbilt centered it. But the Red Wings were back covering up. 4 of them abreast coming in over the line. Broken up. Vanderbilt chopped at it and got it back out. 3:20 left in the opening period. 2-0 Toronto. Detroit trying to get organized. Get on the board before this period is out. A long shot in is wide. Red Wings are changing. Leafs, front of the net, coming out was Anderson right in front of Potvin. There's Gilmore. He has 3 to beat. Can't do it. Yzerman shot one down the left side. Yzerman finding some room. Yzerman forced back to the net. He's still on his skates. Center net. Potvin covering up to the short side. They're going back to the goal. Fight for it. Scramble on the boards. Ciccarelli trying to find it. He does. Ciccarelli can't get in front of McCown. Yzerman is back there. Yzerman centered it. Great shot high. It bounces on the net behind the goal. Ciccarelli nailed by McCown. And Anderson shoots it to center ice. What action here in period 1 at Maple Leaf Gardens tonight. Here's Gilmore. He's up to the Detroit line and ran into a stone wall. Jason just stood up there and stopped him. 2:05 remaining first period. 2-0 Toronto. The Red Wings coming to center is Primo. Primo coming in. Squeezed out of the play by Elliott Gill. And a play call. There's going to be a penalty, I think. Boy, this has been some kind of hockey here in the first period of Game 3. And Primo
that he doesn't want any trouble around the goal. Primo did not purposely run into him, and he did not really even knock him down, but he did bump him. Now, Doug Gilmour, who rarely makes a mistake, makes a bad one here. He doesn't get the puck deep
Number
on a rush,
55,
and
Primo,
3 or 4
2
Leafs
minutes
are
for
caught.
slashing.
And this is the chance at lead 2. Eiserman gets a good chance, and if you remember, the Red Wings hemmed the Leafs in for about 20 seconds and had 3 or 4 good chances. All because the Leafs didn't get it deep at the Red Wing blue line. Cicerelli, who's got more notoriety for a guy who has 1 assist in 2 games than anybody in Stanley Cup history, has been taken out hard all night. A lot by Jamie McCown. Now here's the penalty. It certainly is an excuse me bump, but Fawcett is laying the law down.
I think he has called it slashing. If that be the case, there's the slashing sign. If that be the case, it happened away from the net. And I guess Fawcett was about the only one down there who saw it. And he's the only one that counted.
Well, Primo certainly didn't agree with it, but the Leafs are on the power play. 1:57 to go in the first period.
Primo off for slashing at 18:03. Toronto, their 3rd opportunity tonight with a man advantage. They are leading 2-0. The Red Wings have killed off the first 2 minor penalties. Now to center. It is shot in. Andreychuk on the ice. He has scored the 2 Leaf goals. Icing called against the Maple Leafs.
That was a bad shoot-in at 5-on-5 and on the power play in games 1 and 2. One reason why the Leafs could get very little forechecking done was poor shoot-ins. You have to give the Red Wings credit. They were forcing the Leafs to do it right at or before the red line. And there's a bit of panic sets in there, and you just try and get it past the forechecker to get it in, and it goes right to the goal.
Red Wings win the face-off. Now the Leafs pick it up. Gilmour stick handled around one man at his own line. Pass to Cullen. He had to dump it in. Andreychuk against Racine. Andreychuk is put off stride, and the Red Wings shoot it away again. 1:20 left in the first period. A little better than that in the penalty to Primo of Detroit. Again, Gilmour will have to come back. The Red Wings are changing the penalty killers now as Gilmour comes out again. Sliding it up to Todd Gill. Gill over the Red Wing line to Andreychuk. Back in for Gill. It was off Konstantinov. Here's Andreychuk moving up with a shot. That missed. Rebound. Cullen was there and fell. Red Wings trying to move it out. It is Gilmour again. To Mironov to Gilmour. Gilmour lost it. The Red Wings shoot it out. Racing forward. Eisenbart. He can go. He gets in. And he couldn't get a shot. Rolled off his stick with Potvin going down. What a great chance for Eisenbart. 25 seconds left in the opening period. Gilmour again wants the stick handle out of his own zone. And Konstantinov sending Eiserman in. Eiserman coming in with a shot. That has blocked the net off the boardings, and there's going to be a Toronto penalty to Gill, I believe, as he grabbed Eiserman, who made a great rush and went in there trying to score for Detroit.
You can't turn the puck over in the neutral zone. Gilmour's done it 3 times in this first period. Eisenbart got in alone and couldn't beat Potvin on one of them, and then Eiserman comes in on the right side and gets knocked out. You have to be careful when you give it away. There it is right there. Gilmour trying a low percentage pass. There were 3 Red Wings at the blue line. Get it deep. This is what can happen to you when you get too cute. Thanks, Potvin, to keep the 0 under the Detroit name on the scoreboard.
Now Eisenbart got injured right after that rush. He's on the bench now, and Brian Murray, you can see him. He's upset. He wants the linesman to talk to the referee and get him over there, but the officials have not gone near the Detroit bench, but you can see Brian Murray is upset. Eisenbart was hurt after that last rush.
Well, I'm sure Doug Gilmour's going to hear about it from Pat Burns. He went nuts on the bench 3 times in a 5-minute stretch. Doug Gilmour, usually a very safe, intelligent player, got caught, Bob, trying to do a little too much. You know, you can't write on both sides of the paper at the same time. Now, Now here's what where the injury that you were talking about, Bob, happened. Mironov chases Yzerman and tries to lift his stick up, and there you can see it got him in the face.
I think no wonder he couldn't get a shot.
It took his attention away. There's no question about that.
Yes, he lost control of it right in front of the net after that fine rush from center ice when he outskated everybody. So the Leafs got away with one there, but not this one. Gill is off for holding Yzerman here at the last few seconds of the opening period.
Well,
1944, excuse me, Harry, the time of that penalty to Gill.
Yzerman had a step on Gill, and it really was all Todd Gill could do. Grab the speedy Yzerman down. So there are 4 skaters against 4 here for the rest of this first period.
Just 16 seconds left of the period, 15.7 to be precise. 2-0, Toronto is leading. Shots are 13-9 as the Red Wings have caught up a little bit in that department. Zazzle won another face-off cleanly in his own zone. McCown coming out. Ahead to Zazzle. He tried to pick it up from behind and couldn't. Yzerman in, gets a shot away, and he missed the net with the rebound. Konstantinov took a wild whack at it as the horn goes to end the first period. Now what a period it was. The shots 13-9 in favor of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well,
The 2 goals by Andreychuk. Coming up, Don Cherry is in the coach's corner with Ron McLean. Andreychuk getting both goals for Toronto. The score at the end of the first period is Toronto Maple Leafs 2, Detroit Red Wings 0.
This portion of Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC was brought to you by Ford of Canada. Quality is job one. It's working.
Welcome back. Bob Cole and Harry Neal in the gondola. Second period about to start. 3 seconds from the start of the period. Primo will be on the ice, and Detroit will have a power play for 1:41. Here comes Primo. Todd Gill in the penalty box. Detroit with a man advantage now, trailing 2-0. It is Chiasson bringing the puck over the Leaf line. He's along the boards, Henless check, and Rouse got back to shoot at the length of the ice. 1:25 left of the Gill penalty. Here's Cicerelli near center, and Rouse is all over him. Coffey takes the loose puck, gives it to Yzerman. He's bumped it center by Gilmore, and it's shot back and inside the Red Wing line. Here's Coffey again, dropping it back. Chiasson shooting it from center ice. Comes around the boards in the corner. Back to Yzerman. Yzerman left it. Screen shot. Hit a stick and went wide of the Leaf net. Cicerelli behind the goal. Out to Yzerman. Yzerman gets set. Dropped it to the line. Back to Yzerman. He doesn't shoot. Another screen shot. Right in front of the net. The scramble and Potvin saw it. He reached out with his stick. He was down, but saw it and could reach it. And he did.
The Red Wings adopting a new strategy in the power play, at least in the first part of this one. They had Cicerelli where he likes to reside, right in front of Potvin, and then they brought in big 55 Primo and put him there. So they got the I formation going. How Potvin can find the puck is beyond me. Finally, Primo gets out of the way, but there's that Cicerelli with his feet about an inch from being in the crease. Potvin covers it up. Gilmore with a good hit early in the first period. Knocked Steve Yzerman down here early in the second while penalty killing.
Potvin was complaining to his own mates the other day that when Cicerelli is parked in front of him and he is being checked by a defenseman, he has 2 people to try to see through. Well, here's another screen shot. It's deflected over the net. Coffey into the corner. Red Wing power play now. Fedorov to the blue line. Back to Coffey now, and into the side of the net again. It's centered, score! A quick pass across in front of the net, and Fedorov rocked it home. A power play goal for Detroit. On the board, it is 2-1 Toronto.
A superb pass across from Ray Shepherd. He finds Fedorov on the other side of the rink. The Red Wings spread out the Leaf box. Shepherd finds a hole in it right there. And Potvin had no chance. Probert occupies McCowan, and then the pass can't be intercepted. And it's just a perfect play, and Potvin was helpless on a great pass to Fedorov, who made an excellent shot. 2-1. A big goal for the Red Wings.
Coffey and Shepard assisting on the goal. Fedorov scored it, 1:20 at the time. A power play goal for Detroit. 2-1 now. Leafs shoot the puck in. It comes to the blue line. Fired in by McCown, and the Red Wings are going to clear it. Kozlov had a chance and did not. He gets a second chance. This time moved it out. Hit Fedorov's stick. Howe dropped it back. Now through center, and the Leafs will take over it again. Lefebvre comes over center ice to the Detroit line. Going for the net on the backhand. A weak shot is wide. McCown shot. Nobody in front, and it too missed the net. Kozlov up to Fedorov. Howe is there with him. Fedorov coming in, rubbed it back. Another shot that just missed. And another grab by Potvin as the Red Wings turn it up a notch.
Well, there are few teams, if any, who can make the transition play. In other words, they recover a loose puck just inside or near their blue line, right here. One pass catches the whole forward line. Then the defenseman jumps into the rush. There's Mark Howe, and we have a 4-on-2. And the Leafs get a break as the shooter missed the net. You have to keep one forward deep, and I think against Detroit you should keep them in the middle of the rink so you discourage those passes from one side of the rink through the middle of the other or up the middle of the rink. All you have to do is pick one off, and Detroit starts thinking about not making that play.
Burr, Kennedy, and Probert, the line on for Detroit. Vanderbilt is number 18 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Osborne into the corner with Vanderbilt taking it for Allen. Baumgartner, the other forward. Berg took it from him and took a shot. Deflected wide of the net. Osborne, very cool. Waited back and then dumped it to center. Now Allen moves up along the boards. Allen gets by Berg and lost control of the puck, and he has to hustle back. The Red Wings come out. It is Probert through center. Probert's long shot rising over the net, breaks the glass. It went over the net to the left of Felix Potvin, hit the glass, and it shattered.
We're going to have a delay here while they repair the glass behind Felix Potvin. Probert let one go from about 45 feet out, and it hit the glass, and there's the damage. Coffey jumped into the rush to make it a 4-on-3, and Probert shot it from the blue line. A riser that went over Potvin's glove and into the glass.
Probert circled from his own blue line and fooled the rookie Vanderbilt and got by him, and he established himself pretty well. He had a good rush, and when he got to the blue line, as you saw, he had plenty of room. So he pulled back and ripped one, and he sure got a lot of it. It hit the glass to the left of Potvin, and here's the new one.
Now, it doesn't take long these days if they get the right size pane of glass to put it in the slot. Remember in the old days, Bob, it used to be 20 minutes before we got this repaired.
While they're doing that, a review of the scoring of the game so far. In the first period, all Toronto really, they outshot Detroit 13-9. The spread was larger over the first 10 minutes of the period. Andrechuk scored both goals. Fedorov in a power play for Detroit at 1:20. Here in the second, it is 2-1 Toronto. Here's Ron McLean with an update. And we are back in Toronto as they line up for the face-off to the left of Felix Potvin. Nearing the 3-minute mark of the second period. Toronto leading 2-1. Cullen against Burr on this face-off, and Burr won it cleanly. Coffey sliding one through the players in front of Potvin. Here's Probert again. He centered it. A quick shot was blocked, and Foligno turns. Getting away from Probert, he got it up as far as center ice. Probert going in there again. Potvin holding it. Foligno now and Probert eyeing each other. Probert, a bit of a factor after here in the second period. We'll return to Maple Leaf Gardens after this message.
Kevin Collins trying to pick the octopus up with a stick. He's not going to go for that. He picks it up. He takes it over to the Leaf bench and says, Pat Burns, will you take it? They wouldn't. He took it to the Timers bench. They wouldn't take it. And finally, they got it to the end of the rink where the Leaf maintenance man takes it. Kevin Collins, the only guy that's not scared off by the octopus here at Maple Leaf Gardens.
A face-off to the left of Potvin. 2-1 Toronto. Near the blue line, Lidstrom can't get that shot on the net, so he dumped it to the corner. Leafs bring it out. Clark's pass was intercepted by Ogrodnik, playing his first game in this playoff. Pearson, high stick, knocked it down. So that brings about stoppage, and the faceoff will come outside the Detroit line.
Well, the momentum's shifting a little bit now in favor of the Red Wings. They had a good last 5 or 6 minutes of the first period. They've scored early here in the second. Somebody on the Leaf team, and it might well be Wendell Clark, has to grab the team by the throat and get them going like the way they came out and started the game. A couple of good hits, some good forechecking, and some shots on goal might do it.
Cecil and Primo. Again, Cecil got a skate on it, and Roush shoots it from center. It is dumped in there for Clark. Clark whipped at it, missed it. Mironov from the blue line. Clark trying to put it in front at center, and Pearson just missed it. Red Wings come back out. The pass up to the Leaf line. Potvin going the other way. Had to kind of jump back to get his stick out in the way of that one. Sliding maybe a little bit wide. Ogrodnik keeping it in. Potvin shooting it on the boards to Clark, and he gets it off the boards down the ice. But that is going to be icing, and no question Detroit has taken the steam out of the Maple Leafs here in the second period. We've played 4 minutes and a second.
Well, the Leafs may be trying to protect the lead to a greater degree than they should. It's always a very fine line. Should we go for the next goal, or should we try and prevent it?
We have another update now, and here again is Ron. We'll keep you posted as that game moves on. Red Wings in this game. That one was deflected, that shot, and just missed the far corner. Leafs trying to get it out. Up to center is Gilmour, and over the Red Wing line. Comes in a slot, and here's a shot. Andreychuk had his shot blocked. Andreychuk fighting for it. The Red Wings shoot it down. No icing this time. It's been waved off. Lefebvre back against Drake. He just sidestepped the Detroit forward. Konstantinov and Chason. Chason's pass into the center ice zone. Lefebvre for Toronto. Saw Gilmour up there. He tipped it in. Red Wings lots of time to get back for it. Gilmour nearly stole it. Out for Chason, and a circle back against Gilmour. Konstantinov to center ice with a pass. Yzerman is over the line with Drake. Yzerman gets sent to Drake. Great shot. Great save. Rebound. Great save. Potvin. 2 in a row. And the net behind. Potvin goes flying as the Red Wings come after the Maple Leafs. But Potvin came up big there.
2 big stops, and there's Steve Chason in the crease. On every single Red Wing rush, a defenseman gets involved on the rush, and it's hard for the defenders to sort them out. Unless you have 2 forwards coming back, you can be in trouble. There's the first stop, and then he makes a great stop, and then Chason is knocked into the net by Lefebvre. Here's the first one coming up. This was a 4-on-3 rush, and then the second one. And finally, it's down the ice thanks to Dave Andreychuk. The net's off thanks to Sylvain Lefebvre. Steve Chason, one of those defensemen who love to get involved in the rush.
Toronto has had just 1 shot in the second period so far. Detroit, 4. Scored on one of them. Fedorov on a Detroit power play. 2-1, Toronto leading. And the Leafs dump it out. Clark is hustling in for it against Howe. He rubbed Howe along the boards. Clark kicked the puck loose. Pearson back of the net now in the corner. Pearson got rid of it. Clark is tied up back of the goal. Trying to come out front was Cecil, but he lost it. It is shut down the ice. Gill hustling back. It is Ellett who touches it. Kozlov was giving chase. Icing called against Detroit.
Well, the Leafs are giving the Red Wings a little too much freedom in the neutral zone. The Red Wings are speedier than the Leafs, and they got to make sure no one can skate straight line with the puck through the neutral zone. There's Clark giving Mark Howe a scrape along the boards in an attempt to bring the puck loose on the forecheck. Clark has been fairly proficient in playoff games against the Leafs over his career.
Zessel, Clark, Pearson remain on for Toronto. Gill and Ellett, the defenseman. Fedorov will take the face-off for Detroit. Face-off to the left of the Red Wing net. Red Wings get the draw and get the puck out. Kozlov was grabbed at center. No penalty. The play goes right on. And the Detroit bench is furious over there. Here's center ice. The Red Wings hammer it back in. Kozlov with Fedorov. Fedorov's weak shot. The rebound comes to Yzerberg. Yzerberg flipped one at the net. Potvin stopped that. Red Wings Mark Howe trying to keep it in. Penalty coming up against the Maple Leafs. Howe is upended. There's a holding call against the Maple Leafs. And the Red Wings will get that Hope power play on the ice again. They have scored a power play goal here in the second period. Fedorov at 120, while Gill was serving his penalty.
Well, Pearson, no question about it, held the Red Wing player from behind. The Leafs had got away with an obvious hook on the Red Wing rush up on the ice. And here's Pearson. He's got a hold of his shirt. I mean, you can't do that in a game as important as this. Watch him. He grabs his shirt. Now, in football, this is a great play. But in hockey, it's a foolish play. And the Leafs can ill afford to give the Red Wings any bonus power plays with neutral zone hooks, trips, or holds.
This is an important point in the second period and in this hockey game for the Maple Leafs. Down 2-0 after the first two games in Detroit. Monday and Wednesday, and here we are in Game 3 with the Leafs jumping out to a 2-0 lead in the first period. Fedorov's power play goal at 1:20 of the second, as we said. They're close, and now they have another man advantage.
Dino Ciccarelli getting his power play stick here. In the last 14 games, including the last 12 league and 2 playoff, he has scored 22 points. So he's been right on his game at a time of the year they need him.
Yzerman, Ciccarelli, Primo, big number 55. Coffey, of course, is on for Detroit, and Chase on the other defenseman. McCown and Lefebvre for the Leafs. Osborne and Gilmore, the penalty killers up front. Now, here come the Red Wings. Chason shoots it in. Primo in first, but he tripped up and went sliding into the boards. And the Leafs, Gilmore, a chance to move it out. Has to fight for it now, along with Lefebvre. Chason there for Detroit. Primo gave it to Ciccarelli. Ciccarelli to the line. Chason's shot was blocked. It hit Gilmore and hurt him. He's limping his way to center ice now, watching Chason. That shot by Chason hurt Gilmore, but he stays on. Chason passed it into the corner. Yzerman spinning around. Here's Primo, looking for Yzerman to Primo. Primo back to the blue line. In front of the net. Pile up of players. The shot missing. Potvin has his work cut out now. Ciccarelli all over Potvin, just outside the crease. And the Leafs get it down the ice. Ciccarelli was there again. Potvin trying to look under him, around him, and over him. Well, 40 seconds left on this power play. And the Leafs take it over inside their own line, back of the net, and shoot it out. Coffey lost it. Coming up is Berg. Takes the pass and the shot. Chevalier the save. 25 seconds left on this power play. Detroit 2-1. Toronto leads here in the second period. Chason shooting it in to the left of the net. There's Big Covert coming in after it. Covert on the boards. Yzerman is there with him. It gets back to Chason. Now the shot. Covert there in front of the net with Yzerman. The Leafs hanging on now. Here's Chason again, and it's tipped wide of the net. The penalty is over. Pearson is out of the box. The Red Wings keep the heat on. Side of the net. Potvin has it, and he hangs on with Covert there, giving a shove by Pearson as he tried to knock the puck away from Felix Potvin. We'll be back.
The secret to taking Cicerelli is get position on him. Get between Potvin and him, and then you can push him out of the way. If he gets between you and Potvin, it's impossible without pushing him into the goaltender.
And the face-off to the left of the goaltender now, Potvin. Detroit winning the draw, but Vanderbilt jumped on the puck quickly and put it in back of his own net. Lefebvre is bumped by Probert. Probert comes out. Now he's throwing his weight around. It is Vanderbilt coming in. Penalty coming up against Detroit. Potvin on the bench. The puck is centered off the boards to Lefebvre. He slapped it in the crease area. And it comes out over the line. Detroit's Probert touching it. Now he's swinging an arm at Osborne. I think it'll be Probert who will be going off on the initial call. And the referee has his arm in the air. Ever since that time, the Leafs had an extra man on with Potvin hustling off. And now Probert goes to the penalty box.
Well, Bob Probert is being his devilish best tonight. He's always trying to get a piece of Potvin, the goalie. Here he has a skirmish with Lefebvre. The first one he does not get a penalty on, and that's this one coming up right here on Lefebvre. A good solid check. And then as Probert goes up the ice, he gets a penalty coming right here as coming from behind. He knocks the bomber down, Baumgartner, and for that, he'll serve 2 minutes. The Leafs have to get something going offensively. It will be impossible to hold the Red Wings off with a one-goal lead for the half of the game that's left, or a little less than half.
2-1 Toronto. Here's Cullen and Richuk. And they're coming over the line. Cullen lost it, sending the Leafs back. So Gill is back with Ellett. Gilmore, Cullen, and Richuk up front of the power play for the Leafs. Gill spinning away from Yzerman. Pass, though, was too far for Ellett. Yzerman nearly picked one up at center ice behind everybody. Todd Gill back. 1:30 left of the penalty to Detroit's Bob Probert. Gill leaving it for Ellett. He shoots it in. Cullen racing in after it with Andrechuk. Gilmore right behind him. But it'll be Yzerman. He sees Burrs up there with him. Maybe he can do something with this rush. Yzerman might. He's in with a shot. It's deflected. And it goes up into the seats behind Potvin.
Well, the Red Wings, as we know, are very dangerous shorthanded, especially when you got a guy like Steve Yzerman out there. When he's not there, you have Fedorov. So both of them can make a play offensively when they are on the defense killing a penalty. Here's a long 2-on-1. They cross over, and it's well played by Gill and Ellett. They let the crossover go and take the new man that comes into their area and deflect the puck out of the ring. Steve Yzerman, a slippery guy if there ever was one with the puck.
Well, he's a beautiful hockey player. There's no question about that. Whether they have the power play on or whether they're killing a penalty, whether it's even strength, when he's got the puck, look out. Potvin, glove to high shot. And the Leafs have a minute left on the power play. Gilmore coming away from Fedorov a second time. Into Gill. He has some room on the short side. He tripped up going around the net. Puck comes to Gilmore. Gilmore can't make a play. Mark Howell lost it at the side of the goal. There goes Pearson in there. Using the body, trying to get the puck loose for Andrechuk, who takes it now. Andrechuk back to Ellett. Shot. Scramble. And going down to hang on to it was Tim Shovelday. As Andrechuk came very close again. He has scored the 2 Leaf goals.
Well, on the power play, when the Leafs do get in the Red Wing zone, they have to get it back out to the point. You see all 4 Red Wings inside the top of the circle, and you can't make any of those inside passes. So you have to get it back to the point, across the rink on the point, and then maybe back in deep. Andrechuk gets a stick on the point shot, but he can't get it past a sprawling Tim Shovelday. Andrechuk goes to the net, hoping to see a loose puck. As you can see, Cheveldae had it under his glove.
Gilmore on this face-off against Burr. That was Pearson who skated in too quickly. The puck was not dropped. The Red Wings control it. Yzerman on the ice again. He shoots it down. 9:50 remaining in the second period and 20 seconds left in the Probert penalty. 2-1 Toronto. Center ice, McCown. Bumped by Konstantinov. Pearson comes up looking for it. The Red Wings will kill off another penalty. They shoot it down the ice. And Probert gets ready to get out of the penalty box. Here he is. Probert is on the ice. The Red Wings take the puck. A pass intercepted by Pearson. A shot. Cheveldae blocking that with a stick. Probert lost it inside the line, but Drake now takes it at center, and he played it in for Detroit. McCown back. Yzerman forechecking McCown. Pass intercepted. Yzerman nearly set up. Mironov can't move it out. Red Wings all over Toronto again. It is centered. Cicerelli blasts one into the midsection of McCown, who just went down and blocked the shot, but the Red Wings were coming on again. 8:52 left in the second period. We're back at Maple Leaf Gardens where the Leafs are leading 2-1. St. Louis and Chicago, no score in the first period. Winnipeg, they're still in the first, and Winnipeg are leading 2-0. Ron will keep us posted as these games move along. Cecil gets set on the face-off against Yzerman. And Yzerman won that draw, but Lefebvre took it off the boards before Drake could move in. Yzerman double shifted by Brian Murray now here in the second period. And why not? He has Coffey on there with him. And he's in with a high shot. Blocked. Big rebound though, and the Leafs clear it down the ice. That could be icing. It will be. Lidstrom back, and icing called against Toronto.
Well, I don't know whether it's Detroit playing a little more conscientiously in the second period than the first, but the Leafs have had very little forechecking success here in the second period. And with long, quick passes by those skilled Red Wing defensemen, they've caught the whole Leaf forward line 4 or 5 times. If you keep allowing it to happen, you're going to get burned.
Right after prime time news after this game, Calgary Flames at the Los Angeles Kings. And that'll be on the network for you. Yes, CBC is ready to rumble. Boy, the first period tonight was a rumble if you ever saw it. These two teams coming out at a fantastic pace. The Leafs got the only 2 goals. Fedorov scored early in the second. Coffey now got it behind Potvin, but he reached back and found it, and he hangs on to it. Red Wings are taking the game away from the Maple Leafs now. They are leading in shots at this point, 19-18.
Well, Brian Murray has gotten what he wanted, and only one time has got it tonight, and that is Fedorov against Yzerman. There's the shot from the point. It's a good thing that, or Fedorov against Gilmore. It's a good thing Gilmore took Fedorov to the net after losing the draw.
Yzerman on this draw for Detroit. Finally dropped in. Yzerman hopped to the net. Cicerelli going after the loose puck. Gill bumped him lightly though. Cicerelli comes fighting back. And the Red Wings keep the puck in there. The Leafs cannot get it out. Now it's lifted toward the line and barely gets out. Gilmore is on it against Konstantinov, and Anderson goes in. Anderson fired one through the crease. Off the goaltender, and here's Yzerman. Yzerman is center over the lead line and has good speed up. Jamming on the brakes. The shot trickled off the skate and went wide as Drake was upended going in. Andrechuk's pass. Away too far for Gill. The defenseman hoped to get up on the rush. Back for Detroit's Yzerman. He's in there again, but stopped this time. And it's Gilmore going down with Andrechuk. Gilmore over the line, turning around with it. Gilmore faked the shot, put the pass behind Anderson. Andrechuk shot it behind the goal to Gilmore again. He's hit in the corner, and the Red Wings clear the zone. Fave shoots it back in for Toronto as they want to make changes. 7:15 remaining in the second period. It is 2-1 Maple Leafs. Here's Pearson coming over the line. Pearson trying to go in himself on Konstantinov and lost it. Here's Clark. Back to the goal. Zezel in the corner takes the pass. Zezel fired a shot on the short side. Clark through a left hand. And now he was hit from behind by Primo. And Clark is coming back at Big Primo. Clark threw the first punch on another Detroit player. And then Primo hit Clark from behind. And Clark turned around and went after the big guy.
I think you're going to see Clark get 2 penalties. The original one where he punched Dallas Drake, and then when Primo came in, Clark and Primo went at it. So I suspect the Leafs will have to kill another penalty for Wendell Clark's punch on the original play. Looks like he hit Primo in the helmet with the punch. Now here is Clark coming out, and you're going to see right here that he gives Konstantinov a left hand, and Primo pushes him. Clark gets his gloves off and Primo's shirt over his head. And it looks like Clark hurt his right hand.
We'll wait for the penalties to be posted. Primo and Clark are in the penalty box. There's Clark, and here's Primo. And they had a lot to say to each other from this position.
Right penalty to number 55, Keith Primo, 2 minutes for roughing. Toronto penalty to number 17, Wendell Clark, 2 minutes for roughing, a second 2 minutes for roughing.
Yes. A second 2-minute roughing penalty to Clark. And you're right, Harry, the Red Wings will have another power play opportunity with 6:53 left in the second period.
Well, Bob, the Leafs have been much more disciplined with retaliatory penalties tonight. But that was a bad one by Wendell Clark. Now, there's no need for Clark to do this. This game is more important than a left hand to some guy you don't like. Now, maybe this one's justified as Primo and Clark get into it. But the Leafs have to kill a penalty on a rather selfish decision by Wendell Clark.
Toronto 2, Detroit 1. Red Wings, Fedorov, Lidstrom, Coffey. Probert is up there. And Shepard, number 26. Back to the blue line for Coffey, closing in. Kicked out, rebound, kicked out. Another save by Potvin. He made 3. 3 in a row by Felix Potvin. And he has Detroit now shaking their heads a little bit.
Well, Bob Probert was standing right there after the original point shot and couldn't get it past Potvin. And anybody that worried about whether Potvin would be in good form after 2 6-goal nights should watch this little sequence. 3 good stops and nearly a 4th. McCowan knocks Probert down. Probert goes to the front of the net. Potvin gets up to make the second save, and then he makes the third one just as McCowan levels Bob Probert.
The first 2 were fantastic stops by Potvin. Again, Coffey, Potvin, rebound! Probert with the outside of the net. Big Probert is dangerous on there now with the extra man for Detroit. In again, a Potvin, another save on Fedorov. And McCown is covering up as he falls in the puck to the right of the Leaf goaltender, who is really coming through for the Maple Leafs at this point. 1:23 left in the penalty to Wendell Clark.
Well, Felix Potvin's the only reason the Leafs still have a 1-goal lead here in the second period. He's been brilliant, and the Leafs look a lot like they did in Joe Louis for 6 periods, and not much like they looked like in the first period of tonight's game when they were the dominant team. And one of the tip-offs, they're losing draws, and they're on the wrong end of most checks.
Detroit out shooting Toronto 16-6 in the second period.
And about 8 of them have been superb goal-scoring opportunities.
It's another power play here at this point for the Red Wings. Probert goes over. They get a new stick. 6:16 remaining in the second period. Wendell Clark drawing a pair of minors for roughing. Primo of Detroit, a minor for roughing. Now we're ready. the draw against Cecil of the Maple Leafs. Cecil won it. Leafs do not clear it. Coffey again at the blue line. Here's a shot. Potvin got a piece of that. Berg shot it away. Down the ice. Minute 10 left in the penalty to Clark. Coffey cruising out of his own zone. Shoots it from center. Potvin stopped that smartly. Lifted one to the line. A break. Up at center. Cecil. Coffey coming back. Cecil. He knew it was Coffey getting back. And he elected to take the shot. And just missed with it. 50 seconds left in the Leaf penalty. Cecil doing great work. In there again. Back to the line. It's played back to Rouse. Smart move by Ellett. And then Rouse shot it in. Look out. It hit the boards, took a funny hop, and Shovelday was out of the net to play it in the corner or behind the goal. And he just did get back in time. 25 seconds left in the penalty, and the Leafs are doing a fine job now. Here's Gilmore. Now Rouse taking a shot. He's upended. Detroit shooting it away. Three of them coming on this rush. Coffey going in. The high shot glove by Potvin. And the goaltender hangs on to it again for the Maple Leafs. Only 7 seconds remaining on this power play now. But again, it's up a notch or two in action here in the second.
Pat Burns is screaming at referee Fawcett. He wanted a penalty called on Gilmore. Remember now, the Leafs are shorthanded, and there's where he wants the penalty. Now the Leafs get 2 defensemen in there, and Gilmore hustles back to play defense. A very good decision by Gilmore that allows him to get enough ice to do this. And a good stop by Potvin with no rebound available.
5 minutes left in the second period. And Pearson is serving the extra minor assessed against Clark. He'll be out of the penalty box in 7 seconds. Toronto 2, Detroit 1. Face off deep in the Leaf zone to the right of Potvin.
Primo will be able to come out at the first whistle.
From the draw, it comes back to Chason. His shot misses. The Red Wings are on the rebound, and the play call. It's going to be a Detroit penalty. I believe Drake is going to get the penalty for hooking McCown of the Maple Leafs. Yes, Drake is going off. Dallas Drake of the Detroit Red Wings is called for hooking here at 15:06 of the second period. Here it is on McCown.
Well, McCown would have got that loose puck if he hadn't been hauled down. Drake says the stick was caught. Fawcett said not likely.
At the moment, they're four-side. Pearson is ready to come out of the box. Here he comes. So the Leafs now are on a power play. Gill has time to move it to Andrechuk and now takes it again and shoots it to the Red Wing blue line, but they clear it all the way back down the ice. 4:35 left in the second period. Toronto 2, Detroit 1. Ellett's pass onto Cullen. Gill moving up along the boards by Konstantinov. Chason takes Cullen in on the boards. The Leafs looking for it in there is Andrechuk. Andrechuk looking to the net. Slapped it behind the goal. Back to Andrechuk. He's out front. Backhander and he missed. Again, Andrechuk skating for the goal. Gets out in front. Trying to handle it in front of the net. About 30 feet out and lost it. And the Red Wings shoot it in. A minute left on the power play. 3:55 left in the second period. Toronto on the move. The defenseman Ellett comes up. He hit Howes. He shot it in. And Ellett was upended. And the Red Wings clear it all the way down the ice. 45 seconds left in the Detroit penalty. Leafs lead by 1 goal. Here's Cullen up to Andrechuk. He couldn't handle it. Out of the net, Shovelday slipped it behind the goal. Howe left it. Fedorov flipped it back in his own zone. And now it's shot down to the Toronto blue line. Cullen takes a pass at center. Coming comes up with Gilmore. Gilmore on the puck. Back in front, Mironov. High shot off his stick. And into the crowd behind Shovelday with 16 seconds left in the Detroit penalty. 3:10 in the period. Let's go to Ron MacLean. One or two upsets in the making around the first playoff round. 3:10 left in the second period here in Game 3. Now this one. Detroit winning the first two games at home. Leafs on a power play for another 7 seconds, and they lose it at the Detroit blue line, and it's shut down the ice. Here's Drake out of the box. So the Red Wings kill off another one. Anderson moving up with Pearson. He takes the pass. Anderson is with him. Pearson keeps going to the corner, fed it in behind the net. Zezel couldn't pick it up. Yzerman got it ahead. That was a good play. Out to Burr. He and Drake come in. McCown took it away from Drake. And the Leafs come back to shoot it down inside the Detroit line. 2:25 left in the second period. Red Wings Drake. Up to Yzerman. He's going in on the net. Drill the shot. And Potvin had the angle. And the puck is over the glass. Into the crowd. 2:15 to play. Second period.
Well, young Potvin has really come to the rescue of the Leafs here in the second period. On the power play, the two things that kill the Leafs: one, they can't get it in, and two, they have trouble recovering when it's loose.
And quickly another update. Here's Ron. Ron, thank you very much. So they maintain a 2-goal spread there. Here it is a 1-goal spread. Detroit trailing Toronto by that margin with 2:10 left in the period. No icing. Shot all the way down the ice. That's Coffey with the puck. Coffey's pass intercepted. Rouse comes in. Quick shot. Not much on it, and he missed. Polino ripped one, and he missed. It hit the boards in the corner and gets all the way down the ice. Rouse back against Kennedy. The Leafs on the puck. Vanderbilt tried to move it in and did, but the Red Wings had 3 players up there. Primo ahead to Probert. Probert coming in, tied up. Can't get a shot, but Coffey might. Fired it in wide of the goal. Foligno hustles after it. It's Kennedy back of the net. Hit the back of the net. Out front. Primo tried to stuff it in. And Potvin saw it, made a fine stop. Here's a pass in for Vanderbilt. A little too far, but he goes in after it. Put it in behind the net for Foligno. Todd Gill is pinching in. Bumped by Probert. Foligno in the corner fighting for it. Kicked it loose. Osborne gets in front of the net. Play comes out. Zezel backhanded. He missed. Gill again keeping it in for Zezel. Coming for the net. Right in. And he's stopped by Shovelday into the final minute of the second period. 2-1 Toronto. It is Coffey cruising in. Gets over the line and lost control of the puck, and Elliott shot it out. The Red Wings are changing, and they might be called for too many men on the ice. They were changing, and a crowd of players at the bench. Somebody going off had hit the puck with a skate, and the linesman on this side, Murphy, called the play. Nobody has gone near the penalty box yet.
It's an offside call, Bob. There were a lot of people around the Detroit bench, and it was an animated offside call, which made it look like a penalty.
Well, Murphy, the linesman on this side, who was there to call the offside, okay. Collins was on the other side playing the line, and here's Murphy. He skated right across the line, pointing to the Detroit bench. And obviously, he was ruling that the puck had come out and gone back in, so therefore the offside. But boy, a big crowd changing at the Detroit bench. But no penalty. 35 seconds left in the period. Detroit trying to clear it out. 30 seconds left. Kozlov brings it in. Dropped it to Fedorov. Potvin scooped it away with a stick. Kozlov goes after it at the far side. It is centered again. Fedorov didn't see it. And the Leafs will get it out. 15 seconds left. That's all. Pearson comes in. Tries to get in there for a shot. Sweeps it. The net was off. The whistle had gone, I believe, as that puck got in over the line.
Wendell Clark saying that he was shoved into the net and couldn't help knocking it off. The puck went between the goalposts, or where the goalposts usually are, but here's the play. Now Clark's saying he could not avoid going into the net and knocking it off, and just as he knocks it off, look what happened. Oh, the puck was wide.
Before the puck entered the net.
The puck never did enter the net, and the referee, without the help of any replay, is able to make the right call.
7.5 seconds left in the period. Toronto 2, Detroit 1. And this face-off, an important one at the end of a period, deep in the zone. It's in the Detroit zone. To the right of Tim Cheveldae. Pearson wants to get a new stick. And he appears to be ready now. Here he comes. Yzerman will be on there to try and win the draw for Detroit. Zezel for Toronto. And we're set. 7.5 seconds remaining. Konstantinov had skated inside the circle. The puck has not dropped yet. Here it comes. And the Leafs win the draw. Elliott shot. Scramble. And Cheveldae hangs on to it with 3 seconds left in the period.
A nice play by 25 Zezel and 12 Pearson. They won the draw. They both went to the net. And when Dave Ellett lobbed the puck to the front of the net, Cheveldae had to make a stop in a big crowd. The defenders have to try hard to stop those Leaf forwards. Going to the net, see the two of them. The Detroit center did not stay with Zezel. Yzerman let him go, and they got away with it. Steve Yzerman got too eager to go after the lost draw instead of taking Peter Zezel on it.
3.2 seconds. That's what's left in the second period. And one more face-off deep in the Detroit zone to the right of Cheveldae. Again, Yzerman and Zezel. They're very anxious. Chiasson skating out of position this time. Zezel comes back in, talks to Pearson. Yzerman is ready. Yzerman won it. The puck goes out of harm's way behind the net. And the horn goes to end the second period. Shots after 2 periods. 28-21 in favor of Detroit. Dino Ciccarelli will be along in our studio to chat with Ron MacLean in our second intermission. There's Dino, and you'll meet him in a moment. The score at the end of the second period, Toronto 2, Detroit 1.
Toronto Maple Leafs lead Detroit 2-1. Sergei Fedorov getting the goal to pull to within 1 of the 2 by Dave Anderchuk so far here tonight. Well, as you saw on the opening to the telecast, and if you're in Toronto, read and heard a lot about in the last 48 hours, Dino Ciccarelli parked on the doorstep. Bothering Felix Potvin has become a huge issue here. And there was another example of it this evening. Dino also had a couple of chances, almost scored on the power play in that second period, and joins me now. Quite a commotion you've caused.
Well, it's amazing. I only got 1 assist in a couple games, 3 now, and it's been pretty effective all season, positioning myself out in front for some rebounds and deflections. But if I'm not scoring the goals, I try to open it up for the other guys, or just try to distract the goalie and get in his way a little bit.
It's nice to see. Brian didn't send in the tape, Murray. I'm speaking up to Brian Lewis, but everybody's talked about it, and it looks like the Leafs realize, A, they can't take penalties against you, 5 power play goals, but B, that they're not going to hack you.
No, it's changed tonight, obviously. I'm finding that they're leaving me alone a little more, and the shots are coming from the point. I had a couple good deflections, but they just missed. So it seems like they just want to leave it and see if they can keep the play on the perimeter a little more.
How long have you been using the aluminum shaft? And I noticed getting set for 1 power play in that period, you went over and changed.
Yeah, it's about 3 years now. I guess with the technology, everybody started using them, and if Brett could get 80 or 90 goals, whatever he got, I think a lot of guys started changing then.
Great season for you. Your 6th 40-goal year, 41. You tie Mickey Redmond's record for power play goals, 21. Tell me about Washington's decision not to sign you, and what you were going through this summer before the trade with Miller.
Well, Ronnie Seltzer, my agent, just made it clear at the beginning of the summer last year, because a couple guys that were up for big contracts went through a lot to get theirs done. Don Beaupre and Kevin Hatcher, they sat out, and it was a tough summer. And with my family and the kids in school in the house there, we let them know early if it wasn't in the plans and they weren't going to negotiate the new contract, and to move us possibly by the draft so we could take care of the off-ice things. And they thought our demands were going to be way out of whack, and they thought it was a better move for them to move me.
Well, you were good to them. It's nice they were good to you. Let's talking about Donnie Beaupre. Of course, he was in goal when you had the great run to the Stanley Cup in 1981 against the New York Islanders. Billy Smith give you a hard time ever?
Yeah, he did. Billy was out front a couple times, but I was pretty fortunate to get a couple by him.
Let's look at one highlight anyway. That was the year you set the record that still stands for goals by a rookie in postseason competition. Those dinosaurs were all over the Met Center. How about no stars in Mini? You must be brokenhearted.
Yeah, it's really sad because it's a great hockey town, and the hockey tradition there is really great. It's going to be sad not going back there to visit a lot of friends.
Well, Bobby Smith retired this week. I know what you meant to him and he to you, and I know what you've meant to Detroit, so keep it going, Dino.
Thank you.
Dino Ciccarelli of the Red Wings would smile a little more if his club wasn't trailing by a goal after 2 periods here tonight at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. When we come back, we'll go with scores around the NHL plus action from last night. This is Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Bob Cole with Harry Neal in the gondola at Maple Leaf Gardens. The scoring of the game after 2 periods. Andrechuk, both goals in the first at 4:21 and 7:37, his first 2 of the series. And in the second period, on a power play by Detroit, Fedorov scored from Coffey and Shepard at 1:20. And look at the shots. The Wings have caught the Leafs in that department and passed them 28-21 over 2 periods, 19-8 in the second.
The second period has been disastrous for the Leafs in this series. They've been outscored 8-2. So they got a good one out of the way. And this is a vital 20 minutes for Toronto.
Detroit leads the series, of course, 2-0. Leafs trying to scramble back into the series. Red Wings come in first. Drake centers one immediately, and Potvin has to cover up. Ciccarelli again was very close.
Well, you can't lose when you go to the net without the puck. Drake made a nice play to get a bit of a step on Todd Gill and throws it in front of the net. Now, I don't know whether Ciccarelli got a stick on it or it hit any one of the 4 skates, but it nearly went in.
Yzerman again. He has Drake and Ciccarelli with him. Toronto coming out. It is Gilmore, Anderson, and Andrechuk. Anderson took the pass, but Gilmore had already gone across the blue line. That's offside.
Well, Gilmore leads the Leaf team in playoff points. He has 2 tonight. That gives him 7. And he's done this before in the playoffs with teams. 1986 with St. Louis, 21 points. He had a brilliant playoff with Calgary in 89 when they won the Stanley Cup. The Leafs have had a hard time on the power play and a tough time 5-on-5 getting past the Red Wing defensemen who stand up on that blue line as well as I've seen any team do it consistently this season.
Toronto shooting the puck in. Clark stops it at the line, comes in with a shot. Cheveldae kicked that one out swiftly. It is Fedorov through center and at the Leaf line coming in. Fedorov jamming on the brakes and looking back, and Clark was there to intercept. His pass to the right side. Gill shoots it from center, and Pearson will come in to pick that up. Pearson, Cheveldae out of the net. Cecil saved Clark. And Cheveldae made a great save. The Leafs are still after it. Cecil around the net, centered it. Elliott screen shot, hit a skate and bounced to Kozlov. He got it out to Fedorov, and up comes Yzerman. He was bumped. Kozlov goes in. Low shot stopped by Potvin. Cullen to Clark. Clark from center. The Red Wings are changing. Clark ripped the wrist shot. Now another one. And he slapped the second one wide of the net. Sean Burr shooting at the center ice. The fave to Cullen again. In with Foligno going after it. He got by Howe. And Howe takes the pass from Burr. Mark Howe up to the line at center. Howe all the way for Detroit. Howe still has it to the corner. Finally bumped, but Probert is there. He gets loose. Big bump. Probert shot. Potvin 2 minutes gone already in the third period. Good action. 2-1, Toronto leading. Howe dropped it. And Racine gives it to Kennedy. A little bit too far for him. Look out, Hobart is chasing Gill. Gill touched it and got out of the way. And that is icing called against Detroit.
Well, Wendell Clark had a great opportunity to make it 3-1 Leafs, but he was the victim of Chevelday's best stop of the night. As he took a pass out from behind the net, Chevelday came across the net from his left to his right, as Pearson makes a good job here of getting the puck out, and there's the stave. That was a well-placed shot, and Clark went to the net expecting it. He's got his stick down ready for it, and he can't beat Chevelday. He actually got 2 swings at it.
Chevelday coming up big for Detroit in the early going here in the third period. Toronto leading by a goal. Zezel on this face-off for Toronto, winning it. McCown shot. That's stopped by Chevelday. The Red Wings, Ogrodnik gets as far as center and lofts it in. Hotman out of the net, put it high, and it is Zezel. He fouls. He tried to get going. Now Osborne. Osborne shot it from center, just rolled it in over the Detroit line. Vanderbilt went in quickly, but it's Coffey starting the Red Wings back out. Primo across center, shoots it in. Putman stopped it, played it up to Vanderbilt. He couldn't knock it down. The shot comes in front of the net, and it's Zezel getting out. Getting by Lidstrom. Zezel striding in. The pass comes back. Osborne had to poke it off back of the net. Vanderbilt chasing it. Got his stick on it, was hit hard by Primo. Here's a shot by Osborne. A penalty coming up against Detroit. The Leafs put it in offside, and here's the call. It is a penalty for high sticking against Detroit. Primo goes off. This game is coming to you from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
The big sophomore forward for the Red Wings, Keith Primo, gets 2 minutes for high sticking as he throws the Leaf player into the boards. That's his 3rd penalty of the night.
Toronto 2, Detroit 1. The Leafs shoot it in on the power play. Andrechuk and Ella chasing the puck. Pass back to the line. Ripped the shot by Gill. And then Andrechuk off the boards, back of the net. Cullen gets out front. And Chevelday again coming up big against Cullen as he whipped it around the net and tried to stuff it in.
A heads-up play by Gilmore to let the pass that he was getting from Andrechuk go right by him. That went right to Cullen, who was lying under the grass behind the net, picked the puck up, and couldn't beat Chevelday on the wraparound attempt. Chevelday anticipating as well as Gilmore did on that play. He sees Gilmore let it go, and look how quickly he's over there. Cullen can't get it in. A nice stop by Chevelday.
Gilmore, Andrechuk, Cullen, Gill, and Ellett. Red Wings will send the Leafs back. This is Dave Ellett. Pass ahead, chopped in by Andrechuk. The Red Wings will pick it up. Chevelday nearly lost it in the crease. It slapped down the ice. 1:20 left in the penalty. Ellett takes his time coming back. Red Wings have been great killing penalties tonight. And they'd love to do it one more time. Gilmore gets over the line against Konstantinov, but it's Chason with the puck, and he has lots of time to move it out. 1 minute left to the penalty to Primo. Here come the Leafs, organizing again. Ellett to Gilmore. Gilmore takes the hard pass. Can't move it in. Ellett rolled it over the line. Offside is called at the Detroit blue line with 49 seconds left in the penalty.
Boy, that Red Wing defense, even when they're shorthanded, they stand up on the blue line. Make it tough to stick handle by them, make it tough to shoot it in, and have recovered all kinds of puck. The Leafs shoot-ins are lousy, and there's a good example of it. The Red Wing player gets the puck long before any Leafs within 10 feet of him and just fires it out. But those Red Wing defensemen, they've got this standing up at the blue line down to almost perfection. And the Leafs are having a terrible time getting in. Here it is right here. A one-on-one. Konstantinov stands up. Even if the puck goes through, there's no Leaf going to get it. And many times it's caused offsides.
Face off outside the Detroit line. Leafs win the draw. McCown will dump it in. Left it along the boards and now shot it back of the net. Clark, pass back. Aronoff fired one in. And the Red Wings again shoot it out. Here's McCown, this time shooting into the boards in the corner. Gilmore after Fedorov. Got the puck. Out front, Pearson to the line. Aronoff, no shot. Center, ready to crease it. He scores! Wendell Clark scores for the Leafs. They lead 3-1.
Wendell Clark scores his first goal in 9 games and 2 periods. The Leafs get the puck back to the point when the Reds spread the Red Wings out. That allows Clark to be standing in front of the net because he and Gilmore had a 2-on-1 on the Red Wing defenseman, and Clark steers it in. Racine had to leave Clark to take Gilmore. If he hadn't, Gilmore would have walked off from the side and had a chance himself.
Very timely goal by the captain, Wendell Clark. He has been under fire.
Wendell Clark from Doug Gilmore.
Here in
Dimitri
Toronto.
Nerna, line
He has
444.
shrugged it off, put his head down, and went to work tonight. And here he gets a big goal, a power play Toronto goal, scored by Clark from Gilmore and Mironov. And 4:44, and that makes it 3-1. Toronto.
Look at that. Referee Fawcett's bringing a liquor bottle over Gilmore. He's a carpenter, he's a plumber, and he's an artist. Here we're getting a little example of his carpentry work. You saw the trainer run in the room. Gilmore uses an aluminum stick so they could get the old blade out, heat up the shaft, and get the new blade in.
The Leafs leading by 2, nearing the 5-minute mark of the third period. Game 3 of the best of 7. Toronto's Berg clearing the zone with a backhand. Potvin covering up. McCown going to the boards. The Red Wings are on the puck in there. Kennedy got it back to Howe. His shot is stopped by Potvin. McCown again, bringing it out, gets away from Probert, straight to center ice. McCown gets some room to skate in and goes for the shot, and bluffed by Chevelday. Chevelday out of the net. He sees Probert up there, and he gives it to him. Probert back to Burr. Burr over the Leaf line, in on Gill, hit Gill with the pass. Probert cruising for it. Burr is upended. He doesn't like that. Gilmore's swinging away from Probert, coming in. Here's a shot. Chevelday made the blocker save. Gilmore coming out in front of the net. Nice pass. Intercepted just in time. Probert near center. Here's Gilmore again. He's by himself. 2 Red Wings are back. Make that 3, and now Ellett catching up. In for Gilmore. Dog tired, but he's fighting for it. Gets it out. And Yzerman lifted a high one on the glass to move it up the ice. Leafs have caught fire on that goal by Wendell Clark. They had been laid back, and the Red Wings were coming on strong. Here's Yzerman now, moving up for Detroit. Jason Willem. Angle shot stopped by Potvin. Konstantinov kept it in. Gilmore still on the ice fighting for it. Rouse played it ahead to Anderson. He chopped it out. Nearing the 7-minute mark of the third period. The Red Wings down 2 goals now, are offside. Toronto leads 3-1.
Doug Gilmore played about a 3-minute shift. What stamina he's got, he couldn't get off because the puck was in the Toronto zone for the last 20 or 30 seconds. And we're going to have a penalty here given to somebody. A high sticking penalty, and Dave Anderchuk is going to get it. It was after the play, 10 or 15 seconds after the whistle had gone on the offside. And so the Leafs get themselves into some unnecessary trouble with a foolish penalty.
For high sticking. Time 6:43.
6:43, the time of this high-sticking penalty to Dave Andreychuk, who has scored 2 goals for the Leafs. They came in the first period, his first and second of the series. Fedorov short-handed at 1:20 of the second, a power play goal by Detroit. And here in the third at 4:44, Wendell Clark on a Leaf power play.
Andreychuk's had 6 shots on goal in the first 2 periods and 6 minutes of this period. He only had 3 in the first 2 games. In fact, in the first 2 games, 6 Leaf skaters had not had a shot on goal. So Toronto has solved that problem to some degree tonight with 31 of them. Here with 13:17 to go.
A big power play for Detroit now. Fedorov, Shepard, Primo. Chiasson is back there with Coffey. Chiasson to center. Pounds it in. It comes to the crease. Again, taking a strange hop off the glass. And the ricochet ended up in the crease area.
Well, coming into tonight's game, Paul Coffey was tied with Steve Yzerman with 5 points to lead his team in scoring. Coffey has had 5 100-point seasons. He has an assist tonight. So he has a 7-game point streak going in which he scored 10 points. He's really been a great addition to the Red Wings. Almost all the players talk about the leadership qualities that Coffey's shown in the dressing room and how he settles this team down, especially some of the younger players.
Face off deep in the Leaf zone to the left of Potvin. Shots 32-31 in favor of Detroit. Zazzle against Fedorov. Fedorov wins it. Coffey takes the pass. Slapped it in front of the net. Primo just missed it. Fedorov again on the outside. He'll pass it around. Fedorov shot. Deflected up over the net. Coffey keeps it in. Berg missed it. And now McCown with a chance to clear, and he does. He put it by 2 Red Wings to move it down the ice. 1:25 left in the penalty. Here's Chiasson coming up. Gives it to Coffey, and Coffey shoots it in. Gilmore back and missed it. Shepard back of the goal into the corner, now to the line, and Coffey drilled the shot high. Comes back down, the Red Wings keep it in. Primo in back of the net, but the pass goes out to Fedorov. And now Osborne will clear it. 1 minute left in the penalty. Toronto leads 3-1. Here's Coffey skating in hard. Elliott trying to stay with him and does. Yzerman on the ice again, getting it back to the line, and Yzerman takes it off the boards. Passed it back. It was tipped in by Osborne, who got it out. 40 seconds left in the penalty. Yzerman brings it in, or offside. Fedorov got in ahead of Yzerman that time. And 36 seconds remain in this penalty to Andreychuk.
You know, that was a nice play by Dave Ellett, and rather a slight one. First, Ellett takes on Paul Coffey on the rush. Nobody can skate any faster than Coffey. Ellett has to make the turn. He looks like he's losing the angle. He recovers it behind the net and scrapes Coffey out on the glass. And in front of the net, Bob Rouse takes Ciccarelli. Now, you want to know why it was offside? When the puck goes out of the zone, Rouse ties up Ciccarelli, and he can't clear the zone fast enough. And here it is right here. Just enough to cause the offside.
Red Wings come back in. Still on a power play for another 30 seconds. Ellett chopped at it. And again, the Leafs shoot it down the ice. Bill Berg this time. Mark Howe back for Detroit. Coming out to his left is Lidstrom. He goes straight to center by himself. Pounds it in. Potvin reaching for it. Missed it. Ciccarelli hammered in the corner. Ogrodnik gave it to Ciccarelli. Ciccarelli back to Ogrodnik. To Ciccarelli. Ciccarelli trying to move it quickly. Penalty about over now. Here's Lidstrom at the line. The shot is blocked. The penalty is over. The Leafs are at full strength. Scrambled in front of Potvin. And Ellett slapped it to the boards in the corner. And it gets all the way down the ice. It'll be icing called against Toronto. With 11 minutes left in the third period, the Maple Leafs lead the Red Wings 3-1. Calgary is in LA tonight as their series continues. After this game, of course, the news, and after the news, we'll go out to join Calgary and Los Angeles in the Great Western Forum. 9 minutes gone in the third period here at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. The Maple Leafs are leading the Red Wings 3-1. Trailing the Red Wings 2-0 in the series. McCown, quick pass to Baumgartner. He missed it. No, that's Pearson on the right wing for Toronto. Went by him. Burr for Detroit. Racine has to slide it back with Clark forechecking. Here come the Red Wings. Racine gets across center. Up over the leaf line. Dropped it for Probert. 2 Leafs get out. 3 of them. 1 man back. Clark gets ready. Pearson in. Pearson around the net. He scores! Pearson makes it 4-1. Toronto. It looked like a botched play for a moment with Clark open in front and another leaf, but Pearson apparently knew what he was doing.
A turnover going into the zone often catches everybody. Here's a 3-on-1. Pearson fakes the shot. Chevelday overcommits himself. Pearson comes around and actually puts it off the Red Wing defenseman's skate on the wraparound. We'll see it better here. Chevelday gambled and lost. Pearson on the wraparound made it a nice goal, and the Leafs have a 3-goal lead on a big goal by Pearson with 10:28 to go in the third period.
Todd Gill. Time 9:32. Rob Pearson from Wendell Clark and Todd Gill. Time 9:32.
You heard it, 9:32. Clark and Gill assisting on the goal by Pearson. And that puts Toronto up by 3 goals. It is now Toronto 4, Detroit 1. And what a turnaround. It was all Detroit at the Joe Louis Arena. But early in this hockey game, the first period, the Leafs came out flying and got 2 goals in the first 10 minutes of action, both by Andreychuk. Fedorov made it close on a power play for Detroit in the second, and then Clark here in the third, and now Pearson here in the third. 4-1, Toronto. They are nearing the halfway mark of the third period. Fedorov's long pass is intercepted. Offside, Kozlov.
Well, the long pass is one of the trademarks of the Red Wings, and the Leafs had better be looking for it.
And again, as promised, Ron is keeping us up to date on other games. Here he is. Face off at the Leaf line. Puck is bounced in by Detroit. Lidstrom comes up for a shot. That's blocked. And now Coffey. Here's Kozlov. Another pass to Kozlov. He missed. Fedorov from the corner, trying to move it back out front. Turning back with it. Fedorov lost it. It's Rouse hitting Berg near center ice, and Berg shoots it in. Lidstrom around the net. 9:40 remaining, third period. Fedorov left it at center, and Coffey picks it up on the fly. Took a shot, it dribbled in front of the net. Gill was there, and Anderson gets it out to open ice. Konstantinov, in front of his own net by Yzerman. Elliott shot it ahead to Anderson. He couldn't find it. And the Red Wings again. Konstantinov from his own zone. Yzerman takes the pass and stopped by Andreychuk. Andreychuk tried to go in over the line. He was upended. Got back on his feet. And Chiasson takes it. Lost it to Gilmore. Gilmore trying to make a play. Anderson coming in. Anderson right in. Can't get a shot. Chiasson to Drake. Drake got by Gilmore. And Gill ahead to Gilmore. Had a stick lifted by Drake, who checked him well. Yzerman lost it. Elliott poked it ahead. Pearson shot it to center. The Red Wings are on it to bring it in. It is Pearson who got back. Now Howe. He knocked one down and went after it. Howe passes over in front, intended that pass for Yzerman. Gilmore got it out to Clark. Clark is coming up there, was bumped at the line. Now Yzerman going after 2:06 left in the third period of this one. Toronto trying to fight its way back in the series. Trailing Detroit 2-0 coming in here. And leading this game now 4-1 in the third. Here's Primo over the Toronto line. He pulls his way in and runs over the Leaf player, Foligno. Red Wings receive bumped by Manderville. The pass intercepted as O'Grodnik trying to set it up. And it's Foligno getting over center. O'Grodnik dropped him along the boards, but he poked the puck in there. Racine. O'Grodnik shot it out. Fired back in by Lefebvre. The Leafs are changing. Racine bumped near center. Racine gets the puck again. Getting Shepard to go. Shepard trying to get in there. Was stopped by Gill. Gill brings it out along the boards and takes some punishment as he does. Backs it up to Ellett. Ellett fired it on the boards. It'll go all the way down the ice. That is going to be icing. Unless the goaltender plays it, he has to. Here's Osborne picking it up for Gilmore. Gilmore all the way back to Ellett. Turning, shooting. Stopped by Cheveldae. Probert bumped at center by Gill. Here's Kennedy coming in. And Potvin stopped it. Lidstrom shot. That's blocked. Lidstrom again. That's blocked. And it's into the crowd over the net. 6:38 left in the third period. And the crowd rises again.
Well, Felix Potvin has removed any doubt that he wasn't ready to play and perform at the top of his game in the playoffs. Down 2-0, 12 goals against him in the first two games. He's been brilliant tonight, as he is right here, stopping Kennedy on a 10-foot shot from directly in front of the net. He's been getting a lot of support. They blocked a lot of shots, Bob, and deflected quite a few out of the ring. The Leafs have finally got to the point here, something they could not do in Detroit. They've done 2 out of 3 periods. They've outworked the Red Wings.
Face off to the right of Potvin. 4-1 Toronto. Berg slapped it back from McCown. On the boards is Osborne. And he got it over center ice. Red Wings organize, and it's Coffey who's coming in. Coffey's pass, stopped by Berg. He shoots it away. No icing this time. 6:15 remaining in the third period. The Leafs lead it 4-1. Cowan watching the pass come in. Zesel got back. And it's knocked down the ice again by Berg. It's obvious now the Leafs have one thing in mind. That is to stay close to the Red Wings, as close as possible. And check them the rest of the way. Doing that now. And here's Fedorov getting loose. He's over the line, and Lefebvre gives chase. In comes the score! A quick shot by Chason. And before you could blink, it was in the far corner, and the Red Wings are not done yet. 4-2 now.
That was a nice play. We've talked now for 3 games about the fact the Red Wing defensemen love to get in the rush. But the real problem occurred at the Red Wing blue line. Lefebvre did not get the puck deep. That allowed the Red Wings to get a rush going. Fedorov made the spinorama play and then found Chason walking in all alone, and he really wired that one past Potvin to make it 5-4-2 with 5:46 to go in the third period.
Time 14-14. Steve Chason from Sergei Fedorov and Vladimir Konstantinov. Time 14-14.
14-14, and the Red Wings are coming in again, but Anderson comes back to pick it up. Chason from Konstantinov and Fedorov. Rouse up near center ice. Drake was stopped by Rouse. Anderson shot it into the Detroit zone. Gilmore went in there and tried to pass one over in front of the net. Here's Andrechuk. Takes his time. Tried to move to the net. A long pass along the blue line gets out. Rouse wasted little time. He just ripped it in. They wait for Gilmore to get back on side. Chason scooped it up to center. Drake is stopped by Pearson. Racine now will go to center ice. Racine lifts a high one into the left of Potvin. Gill back. And Gill fired it on the boards. Racine was there. The late Zesel intercepted. Got it ahead. A little bit too far for Pearson. Ciccarelli turning. Pass pass tipped at center, and Racine brings it in again. Here's Howe. Dropped it back in the slot to Ogrodnik. Taking a shot. Howe is on it. The Red Wings are pressing here. Here's a pass, and Ogrodnik hit the side of the net. And it's fired off the boards down the ice. Goaltender has to play it with Tart going up there. Nearly intercepted that. 4:15 left in the third. 4-2 Toronto. Jason's goal at 14-14, giving the Red Wings a life. Konstantinov and Fedorov assisting. Alec trying to clear the zone. Coffey can't keep it in. Gilmore on the ice again. Laid it in over the line for Rouse. Coffey stopped him. Gilmore has it. He handles it so well. Gilmore's pass is intercepted though. Primo played it up to Shepard. Primo trying to go for the net. The big guy is in there to center it, and Berg got back to sweep it away. 3:35 remaining in the third. Toronto leading 4-2. Here's Berg, and his shot hit the side of the goal, and it ended up into the crowd. 3:27 remaining in the third period. Colorful guys at the Gardens. Detroit Red Wings have poured 34 shots, and a lot of them decent shots at this man. So when you think about the Molson Three Stars tonight, you know that Felix Potvin will be one of them, quite likely the first. But there is still lots of time remaining in this game. 3 minutes and 27 seconds, and we all know how explosive this Detroit team can be. It's 4-2 now, Toronto leading. They had a 4-1 lead. Chason came back to score at 14-14, and they nearly get in, and the player Fedorov was upended going for the net, and there's going to be a Leaf penalty. He was breaking in, and boy, was that close. One more stride. Yzerman upended, and he nearly was in penalty shot range. Not quite.
The referee usually points right to the center line if it's a penalty shot. Yzerman steps between the two defensemen, and backhand behind the back hook that might well have saved a goal, and then Potvin is bumped. Might have been a good penalty, Bob, but this Detroit power play can put them right back with a chance to tie it up in regulation. 3:17 to go.
Lots of time to go, as we just said. Lefebvre is off for hooking at 16:43. Detroit's power play tonight, they have one goal. They are 1 for 4. So Toronto 4, Detroit 2. Lefebvre in the penalty box. And now it's decision time for the Maple Leafs. They've got to try to hang on here against the Red Wings, who have the extra man. They win the face-off. Rouse slammed it on the boards, and there's Yzerman. Yzerman, Fedorov, and Cicerelli on the puck. Yzerman along the boards again, looking around. Lots of time to make the play. Circles back from Zessel. Again to the line. Coffey shot, knocked down. Rebound! Potvin coming up with 2 big saves. Here with 2:59 left in the third.
Well, you know, that stop wasn't as tough as it might have looked, but the good thing about it are those soft pads that Potvin's got. The rebound comes off his pads. Now, he's putting up with all kinds of people, but watch how near to him the rebound lands. Just 3 feet away. And Cicerelli got a bit of a shot. Potvin was in the road, as he has been most of the night.
Cicerelli right there again. 1:42 left in the power play for Detroit Red Wings. Here's Chason, back to the blue line with it. Chason again. Pass into Yzerman, Coffey at the line. Shot, deflected! And Fedorov missed it in the open side there had he knocked it down. Fedorov coming in, centering it. Yzerman was in the crease. Penalty coming up to Steve Yzerman. He hooked the Leaf player, Zessel, and he is going off with 1:22 left in the Leaf penalty. Now Yzerman gets a minor for hooking.
You know, this might not have been called if it wasn't for the fact that Peter Zessel was going to get to the puck first and probably ice it. And the referee doesn't like to make those calls, but it would have stopped an icing, and he had to make the call. It was a hook by Yzerman, One where he was just trying to slow Zezel up. It got a little too much on the hook.
It is ironic that the one man that the Red Wings would want out there, I know Brian Murray would want Yzerman, but now he goes.
Well, here's the matchup we've been watching all series, Potvin and Ciccarelli.
2:35 remaining in the third period. Toronto 4, Detroit 2. They're even now. Fedorov comes in. Coffee shot off the glove of Potvin. Gilmore played it off the boards behind the net, and Gill steered one near the line, but the Red Wings keep it in. Shepard takes it. Shepard pinned on the boards by Gill, trying to fight his way loose. Fedorov back at the blue line, comes in a stride. Now the pass over the stick of Shepard. McCown chasing Shepard. And the Leafs get the puck to the line, but not out. A fine play by Shepard to keep it in. 1:56 left in the third period. And in 39 seconds time, Lefebvre will be on the ice as his penalty will have expired. Yzerman has 1:17 left.
Well, in the defensive zone coverage, when you're playing 4 skaters against 4, the centerman has to take one of the 2-point men. Usually his job in the defensive zone coverage is to help the 2 defensemen handle the 3 forwards that are deep. And that time, the Leafs got a little confused on it, and they nearly got burned by the confusion.
So under 2 minutes left of the third period. Toronto led 2-0 after the first period. Fedorov scored a power play goal early in the second. Then Clark, Pearson, and Chason for Detroit. It's 4-2. 1:45 remaining in this third. Berg stalling for some time till Lefebvre gets out of the box. He'll be out in 20 seconds. The Red Wings' Mark Howe brings it out to his own line and dropped it. Racine poked it ahead. Kennedy, a fast skater, going in. He's bumped hard in behind the net, though. Racine beaten by Gill, and Todd Gill, who has been solid tonight for the Maple Leafs, shoots it down the ice. And now Lefebvre is out of the penalty box. The Leafs have a power play. 1:10 left in the third. Red Wings Drake along the boards trying to go in with it. And can't. Gilmore coming back. Gilmore overskates it, but he covered up for that. And here he comes. Into the final minute. Gilmore weaving to center. Coming back again. He's a piece of goods again tonight, isn't he? Doug Gilmore falling on it, grabbing it. And there's a slashing penalty called against, I do believe, a Red Wing player down at the other end.
Young Kennedy's going to get the penalty for the slash. With 45 seconds left, the Wings will be 2 men short for 7 seconds. But the Leafs have all got this one in the refrigerator to force at least a 5th game. Here comes the slash on Gilmore right there by Kennedy. And Gilmore falls and covers the puck up at the same time. Sorry, Konstantinov 16, but Kennedy got it. They both slashed for that matter. Kennedy gets the penalty. The Red Wings are dead tonight.
It was, in fact, Kennedy. Chason was very close to that play, Harry. And as the referee shot the arm in the air, Chason had skated back into the Detroit zone, and the referee pointed down that way. But here it was, right up here, just outside the line.
Two slashes, and the referee Fawcett found one of them.
Only 45 seconds left now. And the puck was shot over the glass from the Detroit zone. That brings us down to 41.9. Yes, he's worked a lot again tonight. He logs a ton of time for the Maple Leafs.
We all know his talent and his grit, but among the great things about Doug Gilmore, his stamina. He can play when other people would be screaming to get to the bench. He can still find some energy to play another 20 seconds.
Todd Gill along the blue line, shovel it into the corner. Cullen put it around the net. 30 seconds remaining. Andreychuk poked it ahead. Now Ellett at the blue line. Fired a long pass in for Gilmore. He picks it up and gives it to Ellett up the line. A shot. Gilmore skating in front with Cullen. Cullen nearly deflected it. The Red Wings get it out. 15 seconds remaining. And the crowd is rising to salute the Leafs, who look down and out coming in here from Detroit. No, they're back in it again. This one's over. A 4-2 victory for the Maple Leafs tonight, who showed a lot of courage and a lot of grit. They were outclassed in the first two games at the Joe Louis Arena, and there were a lot of doubts here in Toronto, but not now.
Well, the Leafs showed here tonight for 2 periods what they've showed in a lot of games. They simply outworked their opponent. And when that happens, your chance of winning, even though the talent level on your team may not be as high as it is on the other team, then you give yourself a chance to win. And Felix Potvin was the most critical Leaf who had a good game tonight.
The Leafs getting a final salute as they leave the ice. Dog-tired, I know, feeling a lot better than they were 2 or 3 hours ago. Final score, Toronto 4, Detroit 2. And let's go to Rob McLean.
Thank you, Bob and Harry. The Molson 3 stars this evening. Wendell Clark answers any critics, and Detroit with a number 1 star performance. Felix Potvin, number 2, and Tim Cheveldae was good tonight as well. Doug Gilmore, star number 3, and honorable mention, of course, to Dave Andrechuk. These 2 teams will play again Sunday night. We'll have that one for you. Jeff Reese is going for Calgary at goal against Kelly Rudy. You'll see that following news. Leafs win 4-2. Thanks for watching from all of us. Good night.